If you want to live in downtown Toronto, but you don't want to pay the premium prices of King West and some of Queen West, well, the Fort York neighborhood might be an area you want to consider. Now, in this video, we're going to go through the best condos in the Fort York neighborhood in downtown Toronto. If you like these condo area review videos, make sure to get subscribed, like this video, and if you want to book a call with our team, because we're very active in these communities, you can do that in the first link in the description. All right, bringing back Amrit again. Amrit, welcome back to the channel. How you doing this morning?
Doing great, thank you. How are you?
I am doing good. So Fort York's an area that honestly, I don't know how we forgot about it until now, because we show properties there all the time and list condos there all the time. What's your general sense of the Fort York neighborhood? And then we'll kind of define exactly the area that we're looking at here.
Yeah, Fort York is actually one of my favorite neighborhoods in the city. It's calm, quiet, as opposed to downtown core. It is also well connected via streetcar. They don't have a subway line access as of now, but you can get to the Union Station via streetcar in about like 20 minutes. You have access to Billy Bishop Bay Airport. You can literally walk to the Billy Bishop in about like 10 to 12 minutes. You have access to groceries. Overall, this neighborhood has a good sense of community, in my opinion. So I really like this neighborhood, and we've put in a lot of clients in that neighborhood. They all like it.
And a lot has changed over the years. When those buildings were first built, there was nothing down there. Now, like, you know, you've actually got the LCBO on the corner, the Loblaws. You can walk up the street on Bathurst and go to the Farm Boy. Like, there's lots of different options there. It's come a long way. And you're right. It's like it's in between City Place to the left of it and Liberty Village on the right of it. If you're looking at it from like above on a map of Toronto, looking like south, basically. So you can still walk to everything, but it is kind of its own little community as well. And just to give you the specific area points we're going to talk about here. So basically the Fort York we are talking about would be Bathurst to Strawn, going west to east. And then it would be like from the tracks to Lakeshore, going north to south. That would be the actual area that we are looking at. But before we go into our best buildings, I want to do something a little bit different on this one, Amrit. I'm going to give our viewers a bit of a history lesson on the Fort York neighborhood. So a quick history on the area of Fort York. It was founded in 1793 as a military garrison to defend the harbor of York. That is Toronto's earliest settlement, long before it was officially known as Toronto. But it was also known as the birthplace of urban Toronto. In the War of 1812, U.S. forces actually captured Fort York, burning public buildings, forcing a full rebuild. The raid led to the British burnings of Washington the following year. It served as the city's main harbor defense until the late 1800s. Today, it is a 43-acre National Historic Site with the largest collection of original War of 1812 buildings in Canada, operating as a museum.
That is pretty interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. You know, learn something new today, not just condo buildings.
Exactly.
We'll talk about the history of the area. So if you ever walking by Fort York and you're like looking at it, you're like, what was that? Well, there you go. That's what it was. But let's get started with the condos, Amrit. Give me your first one on the list.
First one is going to be 628 Fleet Street, hands down. That's one of the underrated buildings, in my opinion, in the city. Great layouts, developed by Plaza Corp. This building was built in about like 2010, and this is 36 stories. It's a high-rise, but at the same time managed well, and you do have a system. Being a high-rise, still you have some sense of community in the building. And I recently saw a sale where like a 1+10 with 2 bathrooms, about 700 square feet, sold for $640 with parking and locker. That's, I think, is a pretty. Those are in this building you find livable condo, not shoeboxy condo.
100%. Like there is many 1+10 units that are 750 square feet with 2 bathrooms that are really well laid out. We have several clients that have lived there, and we found too, and I don't know if this means anything necessarily, but every client we've ever helped purchase there, they bought to live in that building. They didn't buy it as an investment. That's interesting, right? Like that's something that I think maybe people would want to know about. Yeah, I'd agree. Like it would be number one on my list as well. I think it's an underrated building. I think the floor plans are great. I think the Art Deco style of the building is great. I think, you know, neighborhood wise, it's a good neighborhood. Your walkability to everything else. Yeah, it would certainly be on my list as well.
And south facing views from this building, like you look at the airport, look at the water, you got spectacular views from this building.
So next up, we're going to talk about, let's just bundle them all together, Amrit, the 4 Fort York buildings. You got 209, 215, 219, 231 Fort York. Between those two buildings, there's thousands of condo units that are available. I think initially the 219, 231 were like 2006 buildings, and the other ones were 2008 to 2010. They're called Water Park City. The amenities are great. I cannot count. Honestly, it's been more than 10 transactions over the years between these buildings. We've helped a lot of people move in and out of them. Again, similar to 628 because of when they were built. They're not as big floor plans as 628, but they're like the solid, like what you think of a 1+ den with parking. That's a generous layout. That's actually good. That could have some decent views. These buildings pretty much fit that criteria for most of the buyers, right?
Yeah, I agree. Again, a couple of these buildings do allow Airbnbs. So but again, I would say these are one of the few buildings which allow Airbnb, but still are good buildings. Otherwise, I'm not the biggest fan of Airbnbs, the buildings with Airbnbs, but this is pretty solid. And again, as you said, we've helped many clients in these 4 buildings, and they're happy in this building, especially because of the floor plans. And overall, the neighborhood, it is quieter as opposed to rest of downtown, or especially in downtown core.
Definitely. Yeah, I think we had to talk about these buildings because they make up such a big percentage of the Fort York neighborhood. What would be next on your list?
Next up, I'm going to go towards 35 Bastion and 38 Grand Magazine. These buildings are also developed by Plaza, and I don't remember exactly, but I think they were built in like 2008 or 2009, something around those lines. Again, good floor plans. You're looking out southwest. You've got great views of the water. You get tons of sunlight coming into your units, and maintenance fees are pretty reasonable. They hover about like 80 to 90 cents per square foot. But this one downside to this building, that is 35 Bastion, is they got only 2 elevators there. That's the only downside. Other than that, it is a pretty solid building.
So if someone's moving, you might be waiting a little bit longer that day, or if one of them is not working. We had a 2-bedroom listing earlier this year on 35 Bastion in what everyone is very well aware is a slower overall condo market. And we sold it for what I thought was a pretty good price in under 30 days. So just shows that good floor plans, good units, good square footage. And it sold, I think it was under $900 a square foot, probably $850 a square foot, like solid value for those buildings. You're getting actual real livable. It was a 2+ den. You could almost make it like a small 3rd bedroom. So yeah, I agree. This was on my list as well. The next one I'm going to throw in here is actually 50 Briars Muse. And I feel like some people might disagree with me on this one, but my reason why it's on here is because the fees have remained relatively low over the years. We had a few clients that bought there kind of at the beginning of when it launched, and they're still living there. So they obviously like it enough. And I've never had anyone come to me and say like, this is a bad building because of this or this. Everyone's kind of like, yeah, it's pretty good. Or yeah, I've enjoyed living here and fees are low and things have been all right. So 50 Briars Muse would make my list as well. Any reason why that wasn't on your list, or what's next on your list?
Basically because of sense of community. I basically look for a building which has more sense of community. I think the rest of the buildings have more sense of community than this. Nothing wrong with this building overall. It's a decent building, but the other ones are better in my opinion. So that's why.
Fair enough. What's next?
It's not included right in Fort York Boulevard, but I would still say it's close to the Fort York Boulevard. That is tipped off Lofts. Those are pretty spectacular lofts. Expensive for a reason, because those are unique layouts. You got exposed ceiling, exposed walls, brick walls, but pretty cool. This used to be, I think, if I remember correctly, it used to be a tip-top factory back in the day, and they converted into lofts. So they're hard lofts, so they're pretty solid.
1929 was the initial when they built this building initially. It's crazy. Which is kind of cool, right? Yeah, and I think 250-ish units, a mix of like the hard lofts in the original side of the building, and then some like soft lofts that they've created to look like it as well. And every price point. There's units in there that sell for $3 million. And there's units that sell for $500,000. So it's kind of like completely spread out, really cool. Just like walking up to it, when you do showings there, it's like cool. It's like you're walking up to the building. It's like a full grand entrance, and the units are cool and they're different, and it's not cookie cutter. And maybe we're cheating because this isn't technically Fort York, but it's pretty damn close.
And super high ceilings in that building, so that's pretty cool.
Exactly. So that's it for this video, talking about the buildings that we like in the Fort York neighborhood. Let us know if there's any that we didn't talk about that you live in that you really enjoy, or if there's any we said that were great that you don't agree with for whatever reason. Let us know your actual experience in the comments below. Also, tell us what neighborhood you want us to do next. Thank you so much for watching. Amrit, thanks for being here, and we will see you guys next week, or probably pretty soon.
Thank you.
All right, bye.